My ex carved our initials into her arm after I ended things. Sent me a photo with the caption, "Forever or Never." That night, my mom got a call from her number. Just heavy breathing. So I never thought I'd actually write one of these. Not because my life's been smooth, trust me, I've seen my fair share of shit, but because I always assumed I could handle my own mess without airing it out online. But lately, I've been sleeping with the lights on. My door's got 3 new locks. And I flinch when I hear certain songs. So yeah, I guess this is me reaching that point. I'm 31 now. Guy. Freelance IT and occasional network consultant, so basically the dude you call when your whole office Wi-Fi shits itself. I live alone in a 3rd floor walk-up that smells like whatever my downstairs neighbor is cooking, usually curry, sometimes weed. It's not glamorous, but it's mine. No pets, no roommates. Just me, a dying ficus, and too many unwashed mugs. But this isn't about where I am now. This is about 5 years ago when I met her. I'll call her N. I know that sounds cryptic, but honestly even typing her full name gives me this twitchy, sick feeling in my stomach. Like she's gonna find this post, print it, and nail it to my door. We met at this house party in East LA. My buddy Max dragged me there because I'd just gotten out of this 3-year thing with a girl who was stable, kind, supportive, and boring as if I'm being honest. We weren't toxic or dramatic. We just fizzled. But N walked into that party like she was the storm. Black eyeliner, combat boots, lace top, a smirk like she knew every secret you didn't want told. She came up to me, completely unprompted, and said, "You look like you've never been right or over. I could fix that." I laughed because what else do you even do? She tilted her head and added, "Or both." At the same time. And then just walked away. I should have walked away too. But I didn't. I found her later by the fire pit, chain-smoking cloves and reading a copy of Wuthering Heights she'd stolen from someone's bathroom. I sat next to her and we talked until 4 a.m. She said the wildest shit with this calm, measured voice like, "I think love is a kind of ownership, don't you? And real connection only happens through shared destruction." She told me she'd never dated a man who didn't cry in front of her at least once. And then she smiled like that was a good thing. Look, I'm not stupid. But I was lonely. She made me feel seen. Like, she noticed things, how I tapped my fingers when I was anxious, how I flinched when someone raised their voice. She said I had a beautifully ruined energy and no one had ever called me beautiful before, so I let her say ruined too. Within 2 weeks, she was spending the night almost every night. Left her toothbrush. Then her shampoo. Then one morning I woke up and she'd reorganized my fridge and color-coded my bookshelf like it was her f***ing house. When I asked her, half joking, what was going on, she kissed me and said, "You need a little chaos in your life, baby. I'm the fun kind." The first "I love you" came fast. 19 days in, I was making instant ramen, don't judge, it was 2 a.m. and she just stood in the doorway watching me like she was memorizing something. Then she said it, "I love you," with this weird urgency in her voice, like she was afraid the words might escape if she didn't trap them fast enough. And then she added, "You don't have to say it back. I just wanted you to know you're mine." That line stuck with me. Not in a romantic way. In a noted in your phone in case you kind of way. But I brushed it off. Told myself she was just intense. Artistic. Passionate. She painted and made zines and played guitar and posted long rants about emotional capitalism and the mythology of monogamy. She said boundaries were for people who didn't really love each other. That full transparency meant checking each other's phones, knowing every password, deleting exes together like some kind of trust ritual. It all sounds insane writing it out. But when you're in it, it just feels like love, but louder, brighter, hotter, like something real. And I thought I could handle it. I thought I could be her anchor. Turns out she didn't want an anchor. She wanted a mirror. Something to reflect her chaos without cracking. So yeah, after that first "I love you" shit just escalated at lightning speed. Like I blinked and suddenly we were this inseparable unit. She moved in unofficially after a month, her words, not mine, but by week 5 she had her own drawer, a corner of my closet, and a f***ing ritual where she'd cleanse the space. With incense every Sunday morning while chanting some mix of tarot mantras and half-remembered Latin phrases. I'm not even kidding. She said it reset the emotional grid. I just stayed in bed scrolling Reddit and pretending not to hear the smoke alarm chirping because she never opened a window. But I didn't push back. Because every time I did, she'd either cry like I just killed her dog or she'd go ice cold and start muttering about conditional love and how that's what her father did and I was triggering her abandonment schema. I didn't even know what half of it meant, but it always made me feel like the bad guy. Like if I asked for space, I was reinforcing her trauma. And I wanted to be better than the guys who hurt her. I wanted to prove I was safe. That I got her. One night I stayed late on a work call and forgot to text her back for like an hour. When I got home, my TV was unplugged, my charger was missing, and she was sitting on the kitchen floor with a glass of wine and a look that could freeze lava. She said, "I thought you were in a car crash. I thought you were dead. Do you want me to go crazy?" I told her I just lost track of time. She said, "You always lose track of me." That's when I realized she was keeping a log of how long it took me to respond to texts. With timestamps. I saw it on her notes app once. She labeled it response latency, mood correlation. Like I was a lab rat. Still, I stayed. Because when she wasn't scary, she was electric. We'd have these nights where she'd dance in my kitchen to Lana Del Rey and drag me into the bedroom and tell me I made her feel like she wasn't cursed anymore. And I needed to believe that part of her was real. I needed to believe that the storm came with sunlight even if the lightning kept hitting me. But then came the passwords. She told me let's switch phones for the day. Radical trust. I laughed. Thought it was a joke. She wasn't joking. She said if you're hiding something, I'll find out. But if you give it freely, that's love. So I handed her mine. Because again, idiot. She scrolled. Scanned. Got quiet. Said nothing. I got her phone too, but she deleted everything. Like everything. No texts. No photos. No emails. Just a few random contacts and the Notes app. When I asked why, she said, I purge when I evolve. Like that explained anything. Fast forward to month 3. I'm waking up one morning, groggy as hell, go to check my phone and it won't unlock. Password's wrong. Face ID won't work. I try again. Locked out. I go to my laptop. Also locked. Email? Reset. I'm spiraling. I grab her phone, it's charging on the nightstand, and ask if she changed my passwords. She smiles and says, I'm just protecting us. You need to be more present. You live too much in your screens. That was the day I realized I wasn't in a relationship. I was in a hostage situation. But leaving? That wasn't simple. Because she had dirt. Or at least she claimed she did. Said she screen recorded all our fights. Said she had audio of me saying things that could ruin my career. Spoiler, I work in IT. There's nothing to ruin. But still. She said if I ever ghosted her, she'd vanish loud. That phrase stuck with me, vanish loud. It was like her threat had a brand name. Then she started saying she'd never survive if I left. That she'd bleed out poetry until the neighbors heard. And I wish I was exaggerating. But one night, after a stupid fight about me liking someone's photo on Instagram, she went into the bathroom and carved our initials into her forearm. Then walked out and said, look, we match now. I didn't sleep that night. I sat in a chair with my keys in one hand and my phone in the other, ready to call someone, anyone, but I didn't know what to say. Because how do you explain that the woman who says she loves you is the person you're most afraid of? So I start building what I call my soft exit plan. Quiet, nothing that would ping her radar. I stop leaving my phone unattended. Start using my work email again instead of the joint one she insisted we share for transparency. I move my meds and passport into the car when I clean out the glove box. Every step feels like I'm sneaking out of North Korea. But even then, I keep second-guessing myself. Am I being dramatic? Am I villainizing her just because we're unraveling? But then the photo happens. It's taped to the bathroom mirror. I'd been brushing my teeth with my eyes half closed, still groggy, and I didn't see it until I was about to rinse. A photo. Of me. In bed. Asleep. Shot from low angle like someone was crouched on the floor beside the mattress. The shadows are weird and the angle makes my face look gone. What makes it worse? It's printed on glossy paper, not just some phone pic. She uploaded this to Walgreens. Picked it up. Touched it. Taped it up. And written across the bottom in what I thought was marker until I smelled it, lipstick. Red. Bold. Slashed across like blood. Mine. I swear my spine made an audible sound. Like a violin string snapping. I walk out into the kitchen holding the photo like it's radioactive. She's flipping pancakes, humming Dreams by Fleetwood Mac like she's in a TikTok. I go, what the is this? And she doesn't even look surprised. She turns around, still holding the spatula, and goes, a keepsake. You're so peaceful when you don't know I'm watching. And that sentence, that's when something breaks. I say, you took this while I was asleep? She nods like I just asked her if she wants syrup. I ask, you've done this before? She shrugs and says, only when I feel disconnected. She says it like I'm the problem. That night, I don't sleep in our bed. I tell her I'm not feeling well. I lie down on the couch, but don't close my eyes for more than 10 minutes at a time. She texts me from the bedroom, it hurts when you pretend to be scared of me. I read that shit 20 times. The next morning, I find a piece of paper slid under the bedroom door. It's a handwritten list titled, The Promises You Made. But I never made these promises. Shit like, you don't delete me. You don't get to erase our timeline. You don't end this when I'm still healing. That day at work, I scan everything into PDFs. I forward screenshots to a backup email. I start writing a timeline like I'm prepping for court or a Netflix docuseries. I get a burner phone and give it to my cousin with a code word. If I text you pineapple, call the cops. I'm not even kidding. Then comes the laptop thing. One afternoon, I get off early. She doesn't hear me come in, earbuds in, typing like she's on a deadline. I sneak a peek over her shoulder. She's in my email. My email. I say her name and she jumps. Slams the lid down like she just got caught watching porn at work. I ask, what were you doing? She says, cleaning your footprint. I say, that's not a real thing. She says, you'll understand later. Bro, no. Absolutely not. That night I sleep with the car keys in my pocket. Next day I wake up and all my work files are gone. Old resume, saved cover letters, even a PDF of my college diploma. Just wiped. She thought they were outdated. Says I should be living in the now. That night I leave for real. No dramatic fight. Just silence. I walk out like a ghost. My cousin opens his door and goes, so it finally got that bad? I say nothing. I block her on everything. Factory reset all devices. Notify my boss. I expect her to blow up. But for 2 weeks, nothing. Then my mom calls. Says she got a voicemail. Just breathing. 3 minutes of it. No words. Like a horror movie prank. Next call, a photo. Her house. Taken from outside. No caption. Just enough to say, I know where you are without saying it. I report it. Cops say it's not a direct threat. Can't issue a restraining order for vibes. That night I find candles on my porch. Lined in a heart. In the middle? My old phone. The one she stole and said she lost. It's back. Charged. Powered. One photo saved. Me. Asleep. And in the background? Her shadow. I didn't take the phone inside. Just stared at it like it was hissing. The fact it was still charged? Still warm? Meant she'd been here. Recently. I picked it up with a dish towel and tossed it in a Ziploc like I was handling biohazard. Because at this point, that's what it felt like. Not a phone. A message. I see you. I'm closer than you think. I told myself I'd go to the police again. First thing in the morning. But I didn't. Because deep down I knew what they'd say. I'd already gone to them once and left feeling like I was the unstable one. They'd asked if I had any physical injuries. If I felt genuinely endangered. And I remember standing there thinking, how do you explain psychological warfare to someone who still thinks love means flowers and fighting? So I started doing something I haven't told anyone about. Not even my cousin. I started filming. Recording everything. I bought a body cam on Amazon and wore it like a necklace under my hoodie. I'd walk to work. Take the long route. Snap pics of anyone who walked behind me longer than a block. My life became a paranoid scavenger hunt. Every street sign was a warning. Every reflection a potential watcher. And the worst part? She never showed up again. For weeks. Not at my door. Not at work. Not even online. It was like she dissolved. I thought maybe she'd moved on. Maybe she found a new host to latch onto. And for a second, just a flicker, I almost missed her. Not her, really. The attention. The intensity. The sense of being wanted. That's how my brain was by then. And then at 3:17 a.m. on a Tuesday, I got a text. Unknown number. Just one word. Forever. And attached? A screenshot of my front door. Taken from inside the building. Not the street. From the hallway. I snapped. I called the cops. Demanded they send someone. They came, did a sweep, took the phone from the porch. Nothing. No prints. No evidence. They told me again, if she hasn't made a specific threat, there's not much we can do. So I called her mom. I didn't even know if it was the right number. Found it on some old group chat thread. I called and said, I think your daughter's stalking me. I think she needs help. There was a long pause. Then the woman too calm said, you're not the first boy to say that. She told me she'd tried getting her help before. That therapy only made her smarter. That she once broke into a counselor's office and deleted her own records. That she kept journals, hundreds of them, and burned the ones where she admitted to anything. I asked, do you know where she is now? She said no. And I hope I never do. Click. That night I didn't go home. Stayed at a motel. Didn't even sleep. Just sat in the chair with the body cam recording and a bat on my lap. I played the old voicemails on loop. The breathing ones. Tried to find a pattern. Some clue. Anything. And then I found it. In one of the files I thought was just wind, I boosted the volume in Audacity and heard her whisper. 3 words. Right before the line cut. I found you. That was 6 months ago. Since then? Nothing. No texts. No sightings. No porch candles. Nothing weird in my trash. It's like she gave up. Or like she's planning something bigger. I still check the peephole every night. Still wear the cameras sometimes, just in case. I moved apartments. Got a dog. Changed jobs. But sometimes I wake up to the feeling of being watched. Not the paranoid kind. The familiar kind. The kind that knows your patterns. Your passwords. Your silence. And if you're reading this wondering why didn't you leave sooner? I don't have a good answer. Because when someone says, I love you while holding a knife, you don't always hear the threat until the blade's already at your back. I just hope the next guy hears it sooner. That's the end of the story. Not sure if there'll be an update. I hope not. But if you see a girl with a heart-shaped scar on her forearm and a camera around her neck, walk away. Just walk away. Update 1, didn't think I'd ever come back here, but here we are. So yeah, I really didn't think I'd ever have to log back into this throwaway, let alone type out another goddamn post. After I hit submit on the original story, I figured it was done. Like I dropped a weight off a cliff and finally walked away. I started therapy, picked up a second rescue dog, changed my number, deleted half my online presence, even stopped going to my favorite coffee place just in case she'd somehow been watching my routines. I thought, this is what moving on looks like. But turns out, nah, she was just biding her time. It started last Monday, subtle, weird, but not totally alarming. My neighbor knocks on my door around noon. Nice guy, mid-30s, gamer, works IT from home, sees everything from his window. Says he spotted someone outside my unit the night before, like 2 a.m. Said they weren't doing anything outright illegal, just standing there. No ring footage, too far out of frame, but he said something about the body language felt off. Didn't think too much of it at the time. I told myself it could have been a delivery driver checking their phone or something. Then the next day, my landlord calls. Says some woman came by the leasing office asking about me. Told them she was my sister. Said she was worried that I hadn't been answering calls and she wanted to drop off something I forgot. Luckily, my landlord's cautious, said he didn't give her my unit number, just took the envelope and told her he'd pass it on. Problem is, I don't have a sister. Not a real one. Not even anyone close enough to fake that role. So yeah, warning bells. But I still opened the envelope. I mean, curiosity's a hell of a drug. Inside? Just one thing, a photo. A printed out, glossy photo of me. Sleeping. Same angle as the old one. Same posture, same hallway night light in the background. Except this time, my dog's in the frame too, curled up right by the door like he always does. Which means the photo was taken after I moved. Which means she found me. Again. No note. No message. Just a lipstick-stained napkin tucked inside. Same shade. Same style. But different word. This time, it didn't say mine. It said still. I stood there staring at it for like 20 minutes, just replaying every decision I'd made since the move. Every person I trusted. Every time I posted something stupid online that could have given away a detail. I don't even remember falling asleep that night, but when I woke up the next morning, both dogs were losing their shit at the window, barking nonstop, hackles raised. I didn't see anyone. But the motion light on the porch kept flickering like someone had passed through. And there was something faint, a red smear on the doorknob. That was when something shifted in me. It wasn't fear, exactly. More like this cold calculation. Like I was preparing for war. I spent the whole day going through old emails, burner accounts, anything she could have used to track me. But then I did something impulsive. I drove. Straight to her hometown. No plan. No idea what I was even hoping to find. Just this need to understand. To figure out what I was actually up against. I ended up at this shitty little diner near her old high school. Told the waitress I was looking for someone I'd lost touch with. She laughed and said, if it's who I think it is, you're not the first. Turns out she remembered her. Said she was always polite, always quiet, but had this thing where she'd go from zero to meltdown real fast. The waitress even said she made eye contact like she wanted to memorize your soul. That one stuck with me. Eventually, I found a name. Some guy she dated back in the day. Older dude. Military now, based a couple states over. I found a Reddit thread he'd commented on a few years ago, something vague but chilling. If she finds you again, don't argue. Just run. I DM'd him. Gave him a quick recap. He replied 6 hours later. Said run. She did the same to me. You won't win. Just run. Then he blocked me. That's it. No advice. No help. Just those words. I've been on edge ever since. I keep checking the porch light. I leave the TV on at night just to drown out the silence. Both dogs barked again last night. This time at the back door. Nothing was there. But the handle felt warm. I haven't opened it since. I don't even know if I want to. I know how crazy all this sounds. I do. But every time I try to write it off, something new happens to remind me that this isn't in my head. This isn't paranoia. She's out there. And she's not just watching anymore. She's getting closer. Update 2. I wish this was just a nightmare I could wake up from. It's been 4 days since the last post and honestly, I've hit a wall. Not just emotionally, I mean physically, mentally, all of it. I haven't eaten more than microwave rice and energy bars. I started sleeping in 45-minute bursts on the couch with a baseball bat next to me. I know, sounds dramatic, right? But you tell me what you'd do if every creak in your house made your chest lock up like it's bracing for a crash. It's not just the fear now. It's the not knowing. I've talked to cops. Twice. First time, they were polite. Said there wasn't really anything actionable. I didn't have proof she was trespassing, just a photo I can't prove she took and a lipstick print I'd already wiped off. They gave me some generic advice about security cameras, documenting everything, blah blah blah. I installed more cams, fine. But I still don't feel safer. Second time, I brought the envelope. The waitress quote. The Reddit message from the ex she stalked before me. They said they'd make a note but couldn't open an official file unless she did something overtly threatening. How's this not threatening? I've seen horror movies that start softer than this. Then yesterday morning, I checked one of the new outdoor cams. It's motion triggered, covers the alley behind the house. Guess what I saw? She's got a key. Let me say that again, she has a fucking key to my house. Not breaking in. Not prying a window. She walked up casual as hell, turned the lock, stepped inside, and relocked the door behind her. Gone for under 60 seconds. I didn't notice anything missing. Didn't see any sign she was inside. Except, she moved the picture frame. One small photo I keep of my dad and me. I'm 5, he's holding me after my first Little League game. That photo's been on the second shelf of my bookcase since I moved in. She placed it on my pillow. That's it. That was the entire visit. She came in. She moved one memory. And left. And now I can't sleep in my bed. I can't sit on that couch. I can't even take a shower without checking that every window is locked and every curtain drawn. I started keeping my toothbrush in my car. My car, by the way, had its GPS history wiped overnight. Not even subtle. Just gone. Like she wanted me to notice. This isn't obsession. This is a game to her. A long, slow dismantling. She's not trying to scare me into taking her back. She's trying to erase who I was before her. Or maybe who I am without her. I don't even know anymore. What I do know is this. She still has access. She still knows exactly how to twist the knife without making it bleed. And she hasn't said a single word. Not one text. Not one voicemail. Nothing direct. Just presence. Just reminders. Just proof. I've started keeping my shoes by the door. Phone charged. Bag packed. Just in case. Because something in my gut is telling me the next time she walks through that door, she won't be leaving quietly. Final update, I'm done playing her game. So, I guess this is the last post. And yeah, I know that sounds final in a bad way, but I mean it. Not because she's gone. She's not. Not officially. Not in a way the police would care about anyway. But because I'm done pretending I can outthink someone who doesn't care about consequences. I left. Not some dramatic midnight escape. I just packed 2 bags, drove to a city 4 hours away and rented a studio on the top floor of a building with 24-hour security. No forwarding address. No social media. I changed my number. I didn't tell anyone except my brother and one friend who owed me a favor. My boss thinks I'm working remotely for family reasons. Whatever. You know what finally pushed me over? It wasn't the photo on the pillow. It wasn't the key. It wasn't even the GPS thing. It was my mom. She called me crying. Said she got a weird letter. No return address. Inside was a printed screenshot of my old texts with her, private stuff. Arguments we'd had when I was younger. Regrets. Fights. Things I'd said when I was pissed. And written at the bottom in red pen, "You raised a liar. Thought you should know." That's when I realized she wasn't just trying to get me back. She wanted to punish every part of my life that existed outside of her. The idea that I could have family, love, connection, any of that without her? Unacceptable. So I ghosted. I left the board. Let her play alone. And maybe she's still out there, screenshotting, stalking, whispering my name like a spell. I don't know. I don't care. She doesn't know where I am now. And she never will. That's it. That's the whole damn saga. I'm still twitchy when the doorbell rings. Still flinch when I see someone with her hair color. But I'm breathing again. Sleeping too on most nights. To anyone reading this and thinking that could never be me, let me just say this. It can. And you'll think you're imagining it until it's way too late. So trust the shiver in your gut. Get out before the lipstick says mine. End of story. Thanks to everyone who actually read all this. Still feels surreal even writing it down.